As children, we were very vulnerable. We got hurt very easily. A stern look from our father could make us unhappy. A strong word from our mother could cause a wound in our heart. As a young child, we have a lot of feelings, but it's difficult to express ourselves. We try and try. Sometimes, even if we can find the words, the adults around us can't hear us, don't listen, or won't allow us to talk. We can go home to ourselves and talk to our little child, listen to our child, and respond directly to him. I myself have done this, even though I received love and care from my parents. This practice has helped me tremendously. The child is still there, and may be deeply wounded. We have neglected the child in us for a long time. We have to come back and comfort, love, and care for the child within us. Meditation on the 5-year-old child. This meditation can be done while either sitting or walking. It's important to find a quiet place, a place where you can be comfortable and relaxed and uninterrupted for at least 5 minutes. As you breathe in and out, you can say these words to yourself. Breathing in, I see myself as a 5-year-old child. Breathing out, I smile with compassion to the 5-year-old child in me. At first you may want to say the whole sentence, then you may just want to use the key words. Myself, 5 years old, smiling with compassion. The 5-year-old child within needs a lot of compassion and attention. It would be nice if every day we would find a few minutes to sit down and practice this meditation. It would be very healing and very comforting, because the 5-year-old child in us is still alive and needs to be taken care of. With acknowledgement and communication, we can see that child responding to us, and she or he begins feeling better. If she feels better, we feel better also, and we start to feel great freedom. That child within us is not just us. Our parents also suffered as children. Even as adults, they often didn't know how to handle their suffering, so they make their children suffer. They were a victim of their own suffering, and then their children became victims of that suffering too. If we're not able to transform the suffering in us, we'll pass it on to our children. Every parent has been a 5-year-old child, fragile and vulnerable. My father and I aren't really two separate entities. I'm his continuation, so he is inside me. Helping the 5-year-old boy that is my father in me heals both of us at the same time. Helping the 5-year-old girl who was my mother and who is still in me, I help her to transform and be free. I'm a continuation of my mother. That little girl who was wounded and suffered so much is alive in me. If I can transform and heal my mother or father inside of me, I will be able to help them outside of me also. This meditation will generate compassion and understanding directed to ourselves and also to our parents as 5-year-old children. We talk a lot about understanding. But is there any understanding higher than this? When we can smile, we know we're smiling for our mother and father and liberating our mother and father. If we practice in this way, then all the questions which make people suffer, who am I? Did my mother really want me? Did my father really want me? What meaning does my life have? Become meaningless. We don't need to go back to our native land, to Ireland, to China, to find our roots. We just need to be in touch with every cell in our body. Our father, mother, and all of our ancestors are present in a very real way in each cell of our body, even in the bacteria. Awakened understanding has been transmitted to us from all generations, all the sentient beings, and also the so-called non-sentient beings. We are both father and child. Sometimes we manifest as father or mother, and sometimes we manifest as child. As soon as the guava fruit is born, it has guava seeds in it, so it is already a mother or a father. We can practice like this. Breathing in, I see my father as a 5-year-old child. Breathing out, I smile to my father as a 5-year-old child. Father, 5 years old, smiling with compassion. Your father was a 5-year-old child before he became a father. As a 5-year-old boy, he was quite vulnerable. He could get hurt very easily by your grandpa or your grandma, and by other people. So if sometimes he was rough or difficult, perhaps it was because of how the 5-year-old boy in him was treated. Perhaps he was wounded as a young child. If you understand that, perhaps you won't get angry at him anymore. You may have compassion for him. If you have a picture of your 5-year-old father, you can look at this during the meditation. Look at him when he was 5 years old, and breathe in and out, and you will see the 5-year-old child who is still alive in him, and in you also. When your mother was 5 years old, she was also vulnerable and fragile. She may have gotten wounded very... Breathing in, I see my mother as a 5-year-old girl. Breathing out, I smile to that wounded 5-year-old girl who was my mother. Mother, 5 years old, smiling with compassion. If you're a young person, it's important to practice to heal the 5-year-old child in you.